morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Turkey. I'm with City Life.
Talk about it, baby.
You gotta
Right into it.
button pushed in down here. So you gotta speak right.
Yell into it.
My name is Turkey Katui. I'm with City Life. And today I'm here to talk about just from personal experiences. Having been employed and not even be able to make the bills and feed your family is a very, very heartening thing to feel and hear and be at. We're literally the working poor.
Yell a little louder.
We are literally the working poor. We work for our landlords, we work for our bills. We do not work for ourselves. At the end of the day, we are left broke, poor, and homeless.
Right.
Which is not right. We work to make everybody else rich and live through their lives, but not for our own families. From my own experience, having working in the human services and as even a manager, I've come to a jobs whereby we are very, very underpaid. Not because of what we cannot do or what we can, just because of our accents or our skin color, regardless of experience. I've worked in positions whereby I'm probably one person's getting paid $11 and the other person's getting paid $20 just because of skin color, just because of your race, your accent, and it's nothing to do with your education or experience. I've been working with a couple other people to bring stability and changing some rules and laws amongst different companies. Now, companies do not like that when I speak up. You end up getting terminated instantly because you spoke up. But I keep fighting. I keep fighting for it. You know, and currently I'm working on something else to bring a class action to a different company for how they treat and how they treat their employees and really, really underpay and overwork. You get injured at work, you get terminated. These things are not reported. They're not reported because of their ratings. As soon as you get injured, you get terminated. As soon as you complain of overworking, you get terminated. It is not right. And sometimes some people do not even get their wages. I have one person who came to me recently and told me he's not going to get paid for working on a Sunday unless he works on a Monday, which is his day off.
Not right.
That is not right. And I said to him, you need to report that. You know, you cannot, it's not right. So for him to get paid, he has to work on his day off, which is on Monday. That is mistreatment.
Not right.
That's right.
That is mistreatment.
That's right.
And you cannot deny someone the wages they've actually worked for.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. It's the law.
No
It is.
No wage theft.
Now, also when it comes to promotions at work, you do not get promoted. A position you've worked in and know well in and out for maybe 5 years, 10 years, but they will bring in someone they know. The rule is who you know, not what you know, still applies.
That's right.
And I've heard that over and over and over. So moving forward, I'm hoping that this is going to bring awareness and realization and changes. And we have to keep fighting for what we need, what we want, and the changes for the city of Boston and for Massachusetts in general. Hoping we can change the rest of the country.
That's right.
Thank you, that's my time. I'm Tiki.
My name is Desi and I'm here from the Greater Four Corners Action Coalition. I'm here to talk about my experiences living in Boston. Unable to be able to find actual housing. They come here, they put housing up, and it's basically for between 70 to 90% of your income, and we don't be able to make that much as jobs that we have due to the amount they pay us.
That's right.
And it's just basically hard. And I got friends that basically has no choice but to move outside of Boston because they can't afford to live here. And as the months and days goes on and years goes on, it just keeps getting higher and higher and more struggling to live here. Because instead of paying for a rent, mortgage, and everything, we still have to provide food and clothing for our kids, and it just gets extra hard.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
It's really hard, and it gets like kind of emotional because then it's like, what am I still here for? Like I'm basically continuing to fight, but actually, how much time? Like when are words going to actually get heard for the change to happen?
That's right.
Yes, I'm Desi here from Greater Four Corners Action Coalition.
My name is Tashira Green Williams, and I'm a lifelong resident of Boston, Massachusetts. workers' rights organizer at Massachusetts Jobs with Justice.
All right, yeah!
So, my grandmother, who was a sharecropper in Georgia, migrated to Boston with my grandmother and her siblings in tow. My father's mother migrated from Lisbon, Portugal to Boston. Both migrated here for better opportunities and employment. Unfortunately, they were never truly afforded to them. My son, a fourth-generation Bostonian, unfortunately has come upon the same problem. I myself have gone through long bouts of unemployment, and that's just not right.
Not right! Not right!
In a city with so many jobs and opportunities that could be available to its very own residents, the people whose taxes go to making this area look as beautiful as it looks. The same residents that could never afford to actually live here in the Seaport district.
That's right.
Boston, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, that's right!
Boston has too many good jobs to not make sure its residents have first choice of those jobs if they qualify for them.
Yeah!
I know people will say, oh well, why don't they just apply for the jobs if they want them? Maybe they're not trying hard enough. But we know from case studies that especially for black residents of Boston, it is extremely hard to gain access to them.
Okay, tell them.
If they do get the job, they're hired at a very much lower rate, no matter their education level.
Tell the truth.
We all know poverty wages cause crime.
That's right.
So why is this happening in one of the top cities in the country? Could it be racism?
Yeah.
Because to be honest, it feels like we're not wanted here.
Yeah, right.
Our demands are simple. We're not looking for a handout, we're looking for an opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm with Action for Equity, and we're part of Boston Jobs Coalition. And there is almost nothing I can add after what the sisters have said, all four of them coming before me.
All right.
And so I'm gonna give you some information, but there won't be any new news in here. Look around. What do you see?
Buildings.
A gather.
You see jobs that residents don't get.
Right.
Where we're going over there, the 2 bedrooms start at $2 million. We say we're at 2 Bostons, and right here, we're here, and we're seeing the other Boston all around us.
That's right. That's right.
Booming economy, but a lot of people aren't getting the benefits of that. We've heard that median half above, half below wages and income in Boston is $34,000, but it's $46,000 if you're white and $27,000 if you're black.
Wow.
That's the median, half below. That's what people were talking about. And what we know, and this is what Tashia was talking about, getting an education is not enough. And this is the City of Boston's own data, that if you've got a BA, a 4-year degree, and you're white, the median income, half above, half below, is $70,000 if you're white, but it's only $38,000 if you're black.
Wow.
So what we know is that education by itself is not enough. What we know, and Priscilla said this already, 75% of the jobs go to people from the suburbs.
That's right.
And at every education level, people from the suburbs who come into Boston to work are paid more than Boston residents. And our neighborhoods reflect these disparities. So you'll get a median income in Roxbury of $31,000, but in Charlestown, $115,000. And it's our neighborhoods where the pipelines to the economy, to the good jobs start. And if our neighborhoods have this kind of disparity,
In the mic,
if our neighborhoods have this kind of disparity, then people are not able to connect to the good jobs unless we do something about it.
That's right.
What we know is that it's the quality of the jobs, and it's access to the jobs, and it's the connections of our own communities. Thanks. Could you turn the one page? This is our money that's created this.
That's right.
And in the last 5 years, 6 years, the assessed residential value has gone up by $37 billion in the city. Now, all of us, whether we're tenants or homeowners, we're paying that increased real estate taxes, which is the primary money being used to build what's going on around us. The reporting on the Seaport documents that $18 billion in public money went to create what we're looking around us, and the return is not to us. We know this is not starting now. This is deeply embedded in the history of this country, and Chuck will probably talk more about that. What we know is that this is embedded in the history that's always tracked people of color into low-wage jobs, regardless of the skills, regardless of the education. And we're here to say this is going to stop now.
What you've heard today is exactly the reason we're here. That's right. This whole area has been built with our money. That's right. The city, the state has been giving away this land. That's right. Have been giving variances on the buildings. They've given tax breaks consistently over and over and over again. And what have we got in return? We've got this patch of green. That's all we've got. So we're here today to start claiming this for ourselves. That's right. We're building a campaign that says enough is enough. These are our neighborhoods. These are our jobs, and we're coming to get them. Yeah. The way we're going to do that is not rely on good intentions or best wishes. Right. But we know we got to get a law passed, an ordinance that makes it necessary that the developers and the owners of these properties make access and fair share to us. That's right. So our ordinance will go after four main players in this whole world. One is anybody in any of these buildings you see, developers or owners, who had to go through the city to get permission, to get variances, to get tax breaks, to build these buildings, and nothing given back to the community in return. Right. A second group of people is the big corporations, even middle-sized corporations that move into our city and get tax incentives to move here and bring jobs that don't turn out to be jobs for our residents. That's right. And our community. Second and the third one is these big, giant for-profits. The city is huge with for-profits, schools, universities, hospitals. They don't pay any real estate taxes because of their nonprofit status. It's time that they have to pay up for what they get in return from the city. And finally, it's for any company that's working and has a contract with the city. They should be paying a living wage. That's right. That's what we're fighting for. And what are we fighting for? Our ordinance calls for all starting jobs. Starting jobs must start right now at $22 an hour. Going forward from there, there's a 3% automatic increase every year. $22 allows you to stay and survive in Boston. We're not talking about thriving. That's right. We want to get a start. We want these jobs. Secondly, these jobs are going to have to be paid at 75% of people working full-time with health insurance. That's right. Yeah. The other point we need to make is that there's going to be a law that says they have to hire certain percentages. 50% people of Boston, 50% people of color, 50% women. No reason. That's a very reasonable demand. This is our city and our land and our taxes. Right. And finally, we're not going to leave it to the city to enforce this. We have stuff written right into the ordinance that says the community has rights to monitor, to look at what's going on, to get the data of what's going on, and then to take action, legal action, to do something about it. Yeah. So welcome today to the beginning of a campaign that's launching this wealth, income, and jobs for all of us today. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Justice! I'm going to read the challenge that brings us here. A challenge to the city of Boston. Boston residents, particularly its residents of color, have worked for decades to build the vibrant, creative city we all want to live in. We have done the work, neighborhood by neighborhood, to make the city attractive to others who want to live here. And we want to live here too. Yeah. We want to continue contributing to the city and our neighborhood to make it the city we all want to live in and that we plan to stay in. Yes.
That's right. That's right.
But to do that, we need our fair share of good jobs. We're smart. We are experienced. We are skilled. We work hard, but we have been excluded for decades and decades and decades. If some of us get discouraged, Who can blame us? If there is public money, it's our money. If there is public land, it's our land. If there are public decisions, there are decisions being made by our elected officials. Then we are demanding a fair share of the wealth and the income from good jobs for the working people of Boston, for the people of color of Boston. We challenge the city to respond to the problem now. Take up our ordinance and follow through on the other good jobs promised that have already been made. Thank you.